It's been a while since I returned to my rented room in the slums. Lately, I've been quite busy with work and haven't had any time for video editing. Overall, life has been pretty good recently, with a slight improvement in my quality of life. Today, I rode the electric tricycle my brother gave me, carrying my luggage back to my rented room in the slums. I live in the cheapest rental in the city, costing only $30 a month. The concept of slums varies from country to country. In many places, slums are associated with drugs, poor sanitation, and inadequate infrastructure. Simply put, they are dirty, chaotic, and run down. But in China, slums refer to areas with the poorest infrastructure, old housing, and concentrations of low-income residents. Recently, one of the tenants moved out, and I rented another room. The landlord is helping me disassemble and move the bed from the room. Since I used to cook and sleep in the same room, it was very crowded. Now, I plan to turn this room into my kitchen and dining area. The kitchen is almost cleaned up, and it looks quite decent. I'm content with the rent of $30 per month for 12 square meters. Now my monthly rent will account for 10% of my salary, compared to 5% before. But I now have an independent bedroom and a separate kitchen. Yes, my monthly salary is only $600, but I've been living here for 4 months, and I can keep my monthly expenses for rent, utilities, and daily living entirely within $150, excluding social costs, of course. Since I cook for myself, I'm quite frugal. Last month, I managed to save $400 because I had no social expenses, whereas previously I could save $300 each month. The landlord provided each tenant's room with a desk, a chair, a wardrobe, a bed, and an air conditioner. I moved the kitchen wardrobe to my bedroom. Organizing the room alone was a bit troublesome, but thinking that I could finally have an independent kitchen filled me with motivation. I added 2 storage racks to these 2 rooms. The storage rack in my bedroom costs $11.80, measures 1 meter in length, 0.5 meters in width, and has 4 layers. I am now installing it. I plan to use this storage rack for the printer and some daily items. I also have a fixed monthly expense for phone and broadband service, which is a network package costing $10 per month. It includes 1,800 minutes of outgoing calls, free incoming calls, 5G mobile data with 240 gigabytes, and a complimentary gigabit broadband connection. What do you think of the price? Is it a bit expensive? I am currently installing stainless steel kitchen shelves, mainly for storing food ingredients. This used to be a bedroom, but I have now converted it into a kitchen. I originally thought the landlord would not agree, but surprisingly, he readily approved my request. In fact, over the past few months, I have gotten along quite well with my neighbors next door. Occasionally, we plan meals together. My neighbors might appear in my videos in the future. I didn't film them before because I wasn't familiar with them and couldn't just start recording. Now, we are basically quite familiar, and they even support my video work. Most of my neighbors are elderly, retired workers, people who have gone bankrupt, or low-income individuals running small street businesses. None of this is an issue. We get along harmoniously and help each other out. I never expected to become friends with several neighbors who are about 20 years older than me. They are the city's know-it-alls. They taught me many money-saving tips, such as where to buy groceries cheaply, where to have fun, and which restaurants offer affordable and delicious food. I find their advice very useful. After tidying up the kitchen, I plan to visit my friend, the owner of the small restaurant featured in previous videos. Today, we'll also take a look at his $150 room. On weekends, I usually do household chores and occasionally visit friends. Although I live alone, I personally think having a few good friends to visit each other is a happy thing. People need to communicate, but having 2 or 3 close friends can enrich your spiritual life. My small town is about 50 minutes away from Chengdu, with a bus fare of $1.45. There aren't many people on the bus today, which feels nice. Fasten your seatbelt. There are ports to charge your phone on the bus, which is pretty good. In Chinese cities, there are usually old towns and new towns. The old town represents the charm of the past, though you might also see some signs of decay. The new town is usually modern with newer infrastructure. I'm switching to the subway now, heading first to Tianfu Square to meet a friend from the north. We'll then take the subway together to have dinner at a restaurant owned by another friend of mine. Honestly, I really don't like big cities at all. People often say big cities have more opportunities. Young people should go to big cities to develop. Personally, I think it's a matter of probability. Big cities have more opportunities, but there are also more people competing for them. Small cities have fewer opportunities, but there are also fewer people competing. In big cities, you earn more money, but then spend it on takeout and gym memberships, while enduring all kinds of mental stress from bosses and superiors at work. In small cities, you earn less money, but have time to cook for yourself, take walks instead of going to the gym, and if you're happy with your job, you can work well. If not, you can just switch jobs. I'm not sure which path is the better choice to pursue. Usually, people like me who retreat to small cities are seen as lacking ambition. As long as you're in this world, there will always be people who like you and people who dislike you. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are, as long as it suits you, it's the best choice. No matter what, never trade your health for money. So I bravely retreat and become a deserter in life, choosing to live in a small city.
我朋友啊，你好，朱永生，他姓朱，朱阳啊，你们俩一个姓啊，你们俩一个姓啊。
哎，我没看你给我发消息呢。
我没发，我直接就过来了。
行
啊，
行行。
然后那个来2个豆腐脑吧。
好，看想吃啥。
I introduced my northern friend to my friend who runs a restaurant. Both have been my friends for many years, and this was their first meeting. After exchanging a few casual greetings, we ordered some specialty snacks at the restaurant. The competition in the catering industry is fierce these days, and my friend takes on 3 roles all by himself: chef, owner, and waiter. He has a part-time worker who helps him for 3 hours during his busiest times, which helps save on labor costs. Tonight, I'll be staying at my restaurant-owning friend's place to see how his room, which costs 3.5 times more in rent than mine, looks like. The 3 of us chatted about our current lives and work. Young people around the world probably complain about similar things: high rent, low wages, expensive living costs, long working hours, no time for dating, and no time for personal interests.
直接吃就行了啊。我还是不要再把那个查一下呢。直接吃就可以了。需要。我以为需要再把它再。好好好，坐吧，坐吧，没问题。
会加一点鲜，然后去增加那个口味的丰富。北方的口味其实会比较偏咸一点，包括成都这边都是口味比较重的。那个面馆它也是，因为这边面馆太多了。
In the evening, I shared with my friend how I felt about the food he made. My friend works very hard to run a small shop all by himself, commuting alone, cooking alone, with no weekends and no time to attend friends' gatherings. Some people might say that running a shop is much better than working a job. At least the income is higher. But times are different now. Sometimes running a shop really isn't better than having a job. Rent, labor, utilities every day you wake up. The expenses start piling up. I helped my friend with the closing tasks at the shop. I used to run a small restaurant in Chengdu, but as I mentioned before, running a restaurant really means sacrificing health for money. Especially for sole proprietorships, market competition is fierce, and hiring more staff would be a huge expense. If you want to earn more, you have to work personally. In China, opening a small shop might require $30,000, but earning that 30,000 back is really quite difficult. It's very likely that the $30,000 you invested could be completely lost within 3 months. The loss isn't just the $30,000. It also includes the time wasted and the mental toll. After finishing up, I went home with a friend who commutes 2 hours daily, needing to transfer twice on the subway. That adds up to 730 hours a year spent on the road, roughly equivalent to 30.5 days. He earns 3.5 times more than I do, but his monthly savings are quite unstable, as his business fluctuates between good and bad times. He has to set aside a fixed amount each month for emergencies like rising rent, increasing food costs, and his elderly parents. In Chinese culture, young people have the responsibility to support and care for their elders, so there's a lot of hidden pressure on the youth. On top of that, there's the competitive pressure from various peers in the industry. He can earn some money, but not much. Doing business is like walking a tightrope. One misstep can send you tumbling into an abyss. Many people with some savings want to expand their operations, but fall short of the funds needed for growth, so they turn to bank loans. As we all know, the chance of success is only about 1 in 5 or even 1 in 10, and if things go wrong, they risk bankruptcy and being saddled with bank debt. So investing really requires caution. If you come from a wealthy family, there's plenty of room for trial and error. But perhaps, like us, many are just from ordinary families, where success or failure comes down to just one chance. Succeeding feels like surviving against all odds. Failing means facing utter ruin. Now I'm at my friend's place, where they share a rental house with a monthly rent of $150, including utilities, for a 9 square meter space. My friend could rent a better 2 or 3 bedroom apartment, but chooses to save as much money as possible. As the Chinese saying goes, prevention is better than cure. Although life is manageable now, after turning 30, it's essential to plan for the next decade. This is my first time visiting his residence, and it's indeed worse than I imagined, though I'm not doing great either. But life is like that. It doesn't pity you for your struggles. Often, you have to muster your spirits and face the next day.
对呀、就这么办。
现在内存涨得好贵啊，内存大涨价。
内存
啊。
还有像这些，一般如果手机的话，它内存不够，可以放云盘嘛，上传嘛。
I'll be staying at my friend's place for the night. Life is tough, but I'm content, At least I have friends and a place to take shelter. Early on, my friend had already gone to his restaurant. I got up and packed my belongings. I briefly visited the house where she lived. This is the bathroom. Although a bit rudimentary, it has the basic necessities, but the lighting inside isn't very good, it's quite dim. The shared rental has a common kitchen, a laundry balcony, and the living room is cluttered with some odds and ends. There are 4 rooms, A, B, C, and D. One thing is certain, no matter how long they live here, their paths will never cross. Much like migratory birds in this city, you come, he leaves. I come, you leave. What do you think about the $150 room? I'm planning to take the subway to another friend's house to visit him. It's been a long time since we last saw each other. Arriving at another friend's community, I could tell from the surroundings that the hardware facilities here are much better. Within a 2-kilometer radius of this community, there are about 30,000 residents. It's a typical mid-range apartment. Today, my friend's mother happened to be off work, so she came to greet me. I had visited my friend's home a few months ago, but since the community she lives in is quite large, I tend to get lost easily.
朝那边走的，忘掉了都，好久不来了，好久不来了都忘了啊。
This is my friend's 3-bedroom apartment, with a monthly rent of $350 and 100 square meters. It feels quite decent, though it's on the 27th floor, which is quite high.
问他们吃啥？趁他们现在不在，我要拍拍他们的房子。
They usually dine here. This is the apartment's kitchen, featuring a simple Nordic style, clean and fully equipped. Next to the kitchen is a laundry and storage room. This is my friend's mother's room, the largest in the apartment, with excellent natural light and a very open view. There's also a bicycle placed here, which is nice.
这个房间谁在睡啊？朱亮雪吗？我说这个房间谁在睡？ 出凉血再睡是不是？这个房间是洗手间，好像是。
This apartment has 2 bathrooms, and this is one of them. The facilities inside feel pretty good. Everything you need is there. This is the bathroom my friend and her mom use.
有2个洗手间啊。
This room is my friend's room. Even though it's the weekend, she's working overtime. Life in a big city isn't easy, and she also works here.
可以进去吧。
The other room is my friend's boyfriend's room, which has its own private bathroom. As expected, the guy's room is a bit messier. All 3 rooms have closets. Simple and tidy is just fine. What do you think about a medium apartment with a rent of $350? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments.
挺好的。
After visiting the room, have some drinks. My friend's mother's surname is Lee, and I call her Aunt Lee. She's a very talkative person, and I enjoy chatting with her. She shared with me recent updates about my friend's work and daily life.
雷打不动的，都不想让我干。我说，哎呀，在这个地方嘛，干就是也挺近的。我说我答应别人了嘛，我说的是吧？我说。
In the evening, my friend's boyfriend came home and showed me the grilled fish electric pot he ordered online. His name is Xiao Pan, and like my friend, he works in this city. They are both office workers, each earning $1,000 per month. They split the rent and utilities together, so rent and property fees account for a quarter of their respective salaries. However, the cost of living is really high. After deducting various expenses, saving 20% of their wages would be quite good. But they told me it's hard to save. The city is full of tempting expenses. Ordinary things like a cup of coffee, bubble tea, occasional movies, or dining out can quickly drain money. I understand because I've lived in the city too. This apartment is currently priced at $250,000, but at its peak, it was $300,000. So for many young people from ordinary families, it's really difficult to own a home in the city without parental help. Most still choose to take out a mortgage, but the thought of 20-30 years of repayment is daunting. After all, the world is rapidly changing. The job you have this year might be obsolete by next. Cherish the present life, try to save some money, and renting isn't bad. It avoids putting too much pressure on yourself. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? What exactly is it? As a famous quote goes, the essence of life is that even when you understand the truth of life, you still love it. I spent the night on the sofa at a friend's place. Last night, Auntie Lee offered me her room to sleep in while she shared with my friend, but I declined. I didn't want to cause any inconvenience, especially since my friend had to work the next day. Sleep is really important, particularly for those who often work overtime. Early in the morning, I sent Auntie Lee a message letting her know I had left her house and set off on my journey back to my own city. The sky was still somewhat dark, but before long, the sun rose, bringing light to the sky. I felt at peace because this is my real life with genuine friends. Back in my rented room in the slum, I usually leave my key in my shoe when I go out. It's convenient for me. I need to rest a bit before heading to work. Thanks for watching and see you next time.